Hello, Ronnie. My name is Daniel. Today I want to talk a bit about Axhub, um, how to program some of the basic parameters and what you need to be careful about and little things like that. As you can see here, Axhub is a 32 zone security panel. It mostly works wirelessly. It has 32 wireless zones, 32 wireless outputs, you can add 8 wireless key fobs, 4 relays, 2 repeaters, and 2 sirens. It can also work as a Wi-Fi, LAN, or GPRS. And it can be used in various locations like homes, smaller businesses, offices, stores, and so on. For a complete data sheet, you can check it out here on our website. First thing that I want to mention about the panel is there's a chance that it won't come with the newest version on it. And the best way to get the newest version is when you already have the panel hooked up on your HikConnect app, mobile app, you can update it there. I'm actually just going to show you that in a second, how it kind of looks approximately. So you got your panel here. Then when you click on that, this is the next screen. So you'll have to press the cogwheel on the right upper right corner. After that, you go to device information, and after that, on the bottom of the screen, you'll see device version. I updated mine just today, so this should be the most recent version available. And I noticed that when I updated it to the latest version, I got a few more functions from the website because I was checking it out through the web browser. Definitely, they rearranged a few things and added a few more options and so on. So this is how one of the kits that we have on our website looks. So you get the panel, you get one magnet sensor, and you get one PIR. And for my purposes here, I also got a key fob, which looks like this. It's from Pyronics, and it works perfectly with the whole system. Okay, so the thing you wanna do first after the update, you wanna have the device activated, and you can do that through multiple ways. You can do it either through SADP tools or the web browser, mobile app, or even a PC client, IVMS 4200. I already have it hooked up on my network here. So when I boot up SADP tool, it's gonna pop up here on the list. And it's already showing as active because I activated it. Now here you can enable it with DHCP, which is the most easiest way for me here. And you can enable HikConnect, and you can also modify passwords here or any other settings of the panel. So once you activated the panel, you can find a little switch on the bottom when you unscrew the back panel of the panel. You can find a little switch that you can change from access point to station mode of the system. If you switch it on AP or access point, you can find it through your laptop, through Wi-Fi, and you can connect to the panel. You can connect that way, or you can connect with you can switch it to station mode, which it should be on, and you can plug in RJ45 Ethernet cable, and you can connect to the panel that way as well. That's how I have it connect right now. One thing I want to mention is that if you set in AP mode or access point mode, the default IP address is 192.168.8.1. And if you're in station mode, default address is 192.0.0.64. But as you can see here on the SCDP tools, I already have mine on this one here. So I got all my devices in this range. Okay. Also, when you're connecting to the Wi-Fi to the panel, it's going to ask you for a security key. You can find this security key on the back of the device on a little label. It's going to say something like security, sorry, it's going to say AP password. Okay, so I want to connect to it to the web browser, and my address is this one, I believe. Yep. Now, if you're connecting to the web browser like this, it's going to ask you to set up a default password first. I already have my set up, so I can just log in directly. So this, for example, this maintenance tab was added with the newest update. Okay, so user management, you got usual stuff. You can add users, key fobs, and cards. Once you already have some predefined users like admin, installer, manufacturer, this installer is actually changed from setter. They had a setter set up before. Now it's installer, and with that, a password change came as well. I believe setter had like password like setter 12345, and now it's installer 12345. That's the default one. You wanna be careful about. I actually had a question about that. Customer wasn't sure what's happening with these changes, but that's I guess they're still working this out. So once you have the user, you can choose it and you can edit it here. You can of course change passwords and give different user permissions, or remove some of the permissions for this user. You can do this for every one of them, or you can delete them and so on. You can also enable users or disable them. Same thing with a key fob. This is my Ironics key fob here that I have. You can also add more, or you can edit the ones you have, and then you can give specific permissions to each key fob. Like, for example, this one has all of them enabled, all the permissions, and you can choose that for each partition of the system. Okay, this one has everything enabled for every partition. And you can also set different functionalities for each key, as you can see. Okay, this one says it's none, but I believe, yeah, it definitely works. I already checked it. And cards as well. You can add cards. When you press this, panel's gonna say something like present card, and you'll have a couple of seconds to add it to the device. And it's being added in a way that you get the card close proximity of the top of the panel, and it should enroll. Okay, the next one is system. You got basic stuff like device information, ways to reboot and restore and do remote upgrades of the system. You can actually find these upgrade files for firmware on their website, along with the manuals and other things. Now you got some system options here that you can switch on and off. This one, for example, is like constant communication between the system and the devices. Like system is checking for the heartbeat, so-called heartbeat of each device. You can disable those things off if you want. Also, this second option will give you ability to arm the panel even if it has fault on, like missing battery or faulty zone. You can also disable a function key, which is located physically on the side of the panel, and it's used to add devices that way. You can add devices, for example, through the web browser. You can add them physically with that button. You just press the button and the panel says like it's ready for linking of devices. And you can turn off voice prompts and adjust system volume and so on. You also have some advanced options. Okay, so this is a bit more complicated. If you enable this arming, system will basically go through this checklist every time it's arming. And if one of the zones is, for example, tampered, it's gonna prevent the arming of the system. Or if you check this second box, you're gonna enable arming regardless if any of the devices is tampered, or if there's any other issue, like okay, if one of the devices is offline, for example, or low battery, or zone is in fault, or so on. So yeah, you have those options. So this one, for example, enable early alarm. It's gonna so you know how you have early entry delay when you enter. Let's say you trigger one of the devices, and even though you have delay entry delay going on, the panel will still go into alarm after the entry delay is done. So if you enable this, that's what's going to happen. So you can choose time for the delay here. Okay, and the third one is okay. So all right, yeah. So let's say you have a network camera connected to the system. That's some camera that's linked with the specific zone, and the system can't detect the camera. It's gonna go into alarm. Or let's say your internet connection is showing as fault. Again, system will go into alarm, and these other options. Or cellular network failure is there, system will go into alarm. So you got these other options as well. Then you got stuff like locking security after, I don't know, 5 failed attempts. It's gonna lock out user for 1800 seconds. You can change these. You can also lock out if someone's trying to log in through the keypad and he fails 3 times. He's gonna lock the keypad for, I believe these are seconds, 90 seconds. We don't want 90 minutes lockout for sure. Okay, so you can adjust it here. Max is 1800. Okay, not too bad. So you can lock out keypads and card readers and so on. Okay, system maintenance, that's very familiar. Logs, you can check logs. You can change dates, times. And you can add network cameras that can later be added, linked with a specific zone. And let's say you trigger one of the PARs in one of the rooms. If the camera is linked with that PAR, you will get recording. You will be able to play back recording from that camera. So you can do that. You can, I believe you can link 2 cameras right now. Yeah. So the next one is device management. Now, as I said, you can add them by using the physical physical button on the panel, unless you disable it, or you can add zones here. And once you added them, you can edit them here. You can edit their type. You want an instant alarm. Once the zone is triggered, you want delay. Then you can choose enter delay 1 or 2. You can put this on to follow, and these little options are explained in detail in the manual, so no need for me to talk about them too much. You can give them chime option when the zone is triggered, like give a little sound, or this is actually where you would link the zone to the camera. So if the camera is if the camera is linked as number 1, you would choose 1 here. So you got 32 zones here. I got 2 of them enrolled, PIR and magnetic contact. You can also add relays here, or if they're wireless, you can find them here on the list. Also sirens, you can also add wireless sirens, of course, and give them different functions depending what you want here. Keypads, same thing. You can even adjust when the backlight is turned off. So it's kind of nice. Card readers. Okay, so the next thing is partition management. Now here you can set different partitions and then link zones to them. For example, if you want 10 zones in partition 1, you can check only 10 zones, and that's going to be your partition 1. And then if you want other 5 zones, so in partition 2, you can do that. You have to enable it here. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Now you have a bit more advanced option, which is public partition. So public partition is by default considered as partition 1, and then you can join this partition 1 with other partitions. And why would you do that? You do that if, for example, you got different partitions in one, like a larger area, and you want all of them to be used through one disarm function or something like that. You can link partitions into one with this public partition. So I guess there could be some use for that. And then you got schedule and timer, which is basically different times for each partition. You can set entry delays, exit delays, can enable auto arming of the system or auto disarming of the system for specific times. And yeah, you can set the late to disarm time, which is let's say the alarm is triggered after the configured time. That person is considered late. And only thing you have to do for if you have this late to disarm enabled, you have to enable a notification in the communications parameters here later on if you want this. You can also give exceptions for specific weekend days or for holidays. You can add holidays. Okay, and then you have stuff like siren delay time and alarm duration, which you can add. You can change times as well. Okay, and then you have communication parameters, which are your basic. You want to choose static IP or DHCP. You have Wi-Fi as well. It's going to say here in which mode you are. So I'm in station mode here. I'm not connected to any networks, but if I wanted to, I could connect and just press connect and get your Wi-Fi details in, and it's going to connect. You also have cellular data network. You can well, all these details would be provided by the network. So you would need username, access password, APN definitely. And then you can okay, you can set the data usage limit, which is nice, and you can see how much you used this month. guess that's useful as well. You can set 2 alarm receiving centers. One would be a backup, right? Even says here, okay. You can set it as a backup channel. Now these would be given by your alarm receiving center, so no need to talk about this too much. Now you have different events and then push notifications for those events. So I don't know, you want to get notified by panic alarms through push notifications on your phone, you can enable that. Or I don't know, you want to, yeah, I mean, there's different things you want to do here. Actually, this one is not for the phone, this one is for IVMS. Now this is for alarm receiving, this for cloud, and this is for phone, this one. So you can set those up as you want. This is where you would, if you're using HikConnect on your phone, this is where you can register. So I'm obviously registered. Now here, communication mode, you would choose either auto or you would set one of these. Then depending on what you set, that's how the panel would act. So if you have a Wi-Fi and wired network and cellular, if you have all of them connected, you can set which one you want as priority. And then if one of them fails, it would switch you back to, I don't know, if cellular fails, would switch you to wired and Wi-Fi and things like that. Okay, so video verification events. So let's say there's some kind of burglar alarm or something. You can send it to your email, and this is basic stuff like you would fill in on the recorders. Okay, like sender name and then email and username and password. These would be from the email. Yeah, these fields are explained in the manual. Then you can test if everything works. Okay, eHome, I'm not gonna get into that. That's usually it's not really something I guess you would use, but if you do, then you can check it on the manual, and then you can set FTP server and so on. Video and audio is if you have camera connected, then you can change resolutions, bit rates, and other things. Maintenance, if you enable this test here, and let's say you want to do your installer, you want to do a walk test of the system, you can do it here. So you just have to enable test and you have to save. And then the panel is going to say, I'm in test mode. And when you trigger devices, you'll get some notification from the panel giving you like, okay, this zone tested positively. And when you do refresh, you'll get the test result. So I got my PIR and the magnet here, so I could activate both of them, and it's gonna say pass. And when you're done with the test, you just disable this and save, and the panel will say, okay, exiting test mode. Another useful thing that was added in this recent update is the diagnosis. You can do different diagnosis on I know, your cellular data network, and it's gonna give some information on that. So you can see it here. Check it here. Also, you have option to export debugging log if you really need that. And here you have status, which is useful as well. You can see status of your zones. You can see signal strength. You can actually see this signal strength in the phone app as well. But yeah, it says here strong, so that's a good sign as well. On the mobile app, it has like a little dashes telling you how good the signal is, like mobile signal dashes. And now you can do that for each of the devices. Also battery, which I don't have. It's not installed in the system, and you can check your communication status. So it has everything here. Everything's very simple and straightforward. And when you're installing devices, it's best to have them all near the panel. As you learn them into the panel, it's best to mark them like with a marker or a little sticker or something like that, so you don't get confused later. And it's definitely recommended to learn all the devices when you're near the panel, especially with the key fob. I was playing with it a little. I had to be close to the panel to actually learn it into the panel. Yeah. Okay, so this is everything is doable through the web browser, but you also have option of IVMS. I'm gonna start IVMS just so you can see. So this is a new version of IVMS. There was also a newer version of QVMS, which kind of looks similar to this one. It's basically the same, but looks, I guess, cleaner and maybe a few more functions. You can see here Axhub with the serial number, and it's showing as online, and you can edit it here, and you can do remote configuration here, same as through the web browser. Same thing basically. I guess you can do it that way if you need to. That's pretty much it. It's a simple system, and it's wireless. No headache with wires, and any issue. Only issue would be signal. You don't want to go too far with the devices, but if you are, then you would go with the expanders, signal expanders, which would help a lot. If you have any questions, please let me know, but I'm just gonna wrap up the recording. So I just want to mention that if you have any questions, you can always contact me through my email or through my phone number. Next training, I'm going to be talking about Hyundai Color View camera. So I'm just going to go through settings and show what's different compared to a normal camera, like normal IR camera. And that's going to be in around 2 weeks. Yeah, something like that. I believe 2 weeks, Friday. So thank you all for attending, and see you next time.